It's strange to imagine a place once louder than Rome's own Senate now sleeping silently beneath the waves. But Baiae didn't fall because of war or disaster. It sank because the ground itself betrayed it. Volcanic bradyseism slowly pulled entire streets downward while Roman villas slid closer to the sea year after year. Statues survived, mosaics survived. Even banquet halls remained intact. Dual forces shaped its fate, rising seas and sinking land. That's a rare combination. History hides where pressure builds. If Baiae teaches one lesson, it's this: never ignore slow changes. They bury worlds. Ask any ancient Roman where desire lived and they'd point straight to Baiae. This was the empire's pleasure capital, a place so devoted to indulgence that worship of Venus, Rome's version of Aphrodite, naturally became part of its identity. Temples, frescoes, and statues honoring the goddess appeared across the bay, blending faith with luxury. In Baiae, beauty was currency, power was persuasion. Dual reality shaped the city, sacred devotion and unapologetic decadence. Desire leaves fingerprints. Remember this as we dive deeper. Where people worship what they crave, legends usually grow in the shadows. Every legend begins with a ripple, and this one starts with an object described in ancient poetry as powerful enough to bend hearts. Aphrodite's kestos, the enchanted girdle said to make anyone who wore it irresistible. When Romans adopted the goddess as Venus, they reimagined that relic as a sacred symbol of desire and influence. After Baiae's earthquakes, whispers spread that a valuable goddess offering had vanished from a private shrine near the waterfront. Two forces kept the rumor alive: missing records and missing artifacts. Both matter. Stories survive when evidence disappears. The takeaway? When history loses the details, myth fills the cracks. Imagine a villa so extravagant that even emperors envied its halls. That was the Via dei Pisoni, a sprawling estate overlooking the bay, complete with private chambers, hidden stairways, and a nymphaeum where water reflected torchlight across marble statues. Archaeologists believe elite families hosted intimate Venus rituals here, honoring the goddess with perfumes, jewelry, and gilded offerings. Some accounts hint at a missing ceremonial chest kept in a restricted inner room. Dual clues guide this suspicion: Venus-themed mosaics and sealed architectural spaces. Interesting combination. Architecture remembers intentions. Take this forward. When powerful people hide something, their homes often reveal it. Some disasters roar, but Baiae's disappearance came as a slow betrayal. Romans documented tremors shaking the coastline, cracks forming beneath villas, and seawater creeping over marble floors. It wasn't one single catastrophe, it was two forces working together: volcanic bradyseism pulling land downward and rising tides pushing water inland. That dual motion sealed Baiae's fate. Over decades, entire neighborhoods sank below the surface until Rome's pleasure capital became a drowned ghost city. Collapse isn't always sudden. The takeaway is simple: when nature shifts quietly, consequences arrive loudly. If you think Baiae is finished revealing secrets, ask the divers who return every season. They descend through a cloud of silt and find statues, columns, and mosaics preserved with eerie perfection, as if time paused underwater. Since the 1950s, archaeologists have uncovered bathhouses, villas, banquet halls, and newly exposed mosaic floors. Two forces protect Baiae's treasures: the sand that buries them and the stillness that preserves them. Both unusual. The sea is a careful archivist. Take this insight with you. What the ocean hides today, shifting tides may reveal tomorrow. Every good mystery needs an unexpected connection, and this one arrives from the sunken Egyptian city of Thonis Heracleion. When divers uncovered a temple dedicated to Aphrodite there, it changed how archaeologists viewed coastal worship. If her shrine stood near water in Egypt, why not in Rome's seaside paradise? The resemblance between the cities revealed a dual pattern. coastal wealth attracting goddess rituals, and catastrophic sinking preserving the evidence. Patterns matter. Connections reveal direction. The takeaway here is simple. When two distant ruins share the same goddess, the legend gains weight. Sometimes history whispers through ink, not stone. A 17th century coastal map, once dismissed as decorative, contains a curious marking near Baiae's shoreline, a symbol some scholars interpret as representing a sanctuary of Venus. Old cartographers often blended myth with geography, but this one detail aligns strangely well with underwater discoveries. Dual possibilities emerge. Either it marked a real shrine or it recorded a legend locals swore was true. Both are worth attention. Old maps rarely lie without reason. The takeaway? When a forgotten symbol matches modern archaeology, you follow the symbol. Before we go any deeper, pause for a moment and consider this. If you were the diver who discovered the chamber rumored to hold Aphrodite's lost treasure, would you reveal it to the world or keep it hidden to protect it from exploitation? Your answer tells me how you see history, something to display or something to guard. Two instincts shape every treasure hunt: curiosity and responsibility. Both carry weight. Discovery demands intention. If you're enjoying this journey into the drowned heart of ancient Rome, subscribe so you never miss the next descent. Every era has explorers whose names slip through the cracks, and Baiae has its own missing chapter. In the early 1900s, private salvage teams quietly dove along the coast, hoping to find valuables in the submerged villas. Their logbooks were never archived, and some expeditions ended without explanation. Two realities may explain this: poor documentation and deliberately concealed findings, an unsettling combination. Silence creates suspicion. The takeaway is clear. When history records the ruins but forgets the explorers, it's usually because someone, somewhere, preferred the story unfinished. Some mysteries don't shout. They whisper through damage. During a recent dive, archaeologists uncovered a marble statue of Venus resting on its side, beautifully preserved except for one detail. The wrist was shattered clean off. In Roman art, Venus often held jewelry, perfume vials, or ritual objects, so the missing wrist immediately raised questions. Two clues stand out. The fracture shows deliberate removal, and the hand was never recovered. Unusual pair. Damage reveals intention. The takeaway is simple. When a goddess loses what she once held, you search for what mattered enough to take. Some discoveries feel like an invitation. While mapping Baiae's submerged villas, divers found a rectangular doorway completely packed with sand, as if someone intentionally sealed it before the sea arrived. Romans often closed off rooms containing valuables or private shrines, especially during instability. Two facts support this. The doorway is structurally intact, and the interior sonar scan shows a perfectly hollow chamber behind it. That combination is rare. Closed doors speak loudly. The takeaway? When a room is sealed on purpose and preserved by nature, whatever lies behind it was meant to be protected or hidden forever. Every treasure hunt reaches a moment when speculation becomes possibility, and this chamber might be that moment. The room behind the sealed doorway aligns perfectly with the architectural patterns of Roman storage sanctuaries, small, symmetrical, and tucked away from public areas. Inside similar structures, archaeologists have found jewel boxes, ritual objects, and offerings dedicated to Venus. Two clues strengthen the theory. Traces of gilded metal near the threshold and a thin layer of crushed seashells often used in goddess rituals. Rare combination. Patterns point to truth. The takeaway is simple. When architecture and artifacts agree, you examine the agreement closely. To understand why a sacred treasure might end up underwater, you have to think like a Roman. They viewed the sea not just as a boundary, but as a divine veil, an element capable of hiding offerings from mortal hands. Many coastal shrines tossed valuables into the water as gifts to deities, and some even built chambers designed to flood slowly over time. Two beliefs shaped these rituals. The sea purified objects and it protected them. both powerful. Faith guides decisions. The takeaway? When a culture trusts the ocean with its sacred items, a submerged treasure becomes far more plausible. Some of Baiae's greatest secrets don't come from ancient scrolls. They surface when the sea decides it's time. In recent years, shifting sands have revealed artifacts long hidden beneath the seabed. Fragments of Venus-inspired mosaics, perfume containers, and a bronze figurine depicting a goddess holding a small box. Two facts make this discovery remarkable. The figurine belonged to a wealthy household, and the box it once held resembles known ritual containers. Rare alignment. New evidence changes everything. The takeaway is clear. When modern finds echo ancient myths, the boundary between legend and history becomes thinner than ever. Every legend exaggerates, but archaeology prefers what fits the evidence. If Aphrodite's treasure existed in Baiae, the most realistic possibility is a ceremonial girdle or jewel box used during Venus rituals, objects the elite cherished and likely protected. These items symbolize seduction, power, and divine favor. Two clues support this theory: the presence of gilded metal residue near the sealed chamber and records of high-value Venus offerings in coastal temples. Strong combination. Probability narrows truth. The takeaway? When searching for a lost relic, focus on what the culture valued most, not what sounds most dramatic. Some discoveries don't need treasure to feel important. They just need symmetry. Recent 3D mapping of Baiae's underwater ruins revealed a perfectly rectangular chamber connected to the sealed doorway by a narrow corridor. Roman architects rarely created isolated rooms unless they served a special purpose: storage for valuables or sanctuaries for sacred rites. Two details strengthen the theory. The chamber's dimensions match known treasure vaults, and its orientation aligns with Venus-associated symbols found nearby. That's no coincidence. Geometry exposes intention. The takeaway is straightforward. When architecture follows ritual logic, you investigate the ritual, not the room. Imagine the chamber is open tomorrow and a true Venus ritual object is found. Who owns it? Italy's cultural laws say artifacts belong to the state, yet global institutions might argue for preservation in controlled environments. Two outcomes dominate this debate: protecting the relic in a museum or leaving it underwater where context remains intact. Both options spark emotion. Discovery forces decisions. The takeaway? Finding a treasure is only half the story. The choices made afterward shape how the world remembers it. The biggest misconception about ancient treasures is thinking they were created to impress us. They weren't. Romans crafted sacred objects to communicate with gods, not future tourists. That's why many relics were intentionally hidden, sealed, or offered to the sea. Visibility wasn't the goal, meaning was. Two misunderstandings fuel modern confusion: assuming every artifact was meant to be found and believing every discovery must be spectacular. Both distort truth. Value isn't always visible. The takeaway: when exploring ancient mysteries, focus less on spectacle and more on purpose. The meaning reveals far more than the shine. Here's the twist. Some scholars argue the treasure may not have been lost at all. It could have been removed before Baiae sank. Wealthy Romans often fled with valuables during tremors, leaving behind only what was too sacred or risky to move. Two competing theories shape the debate. A relic still lies sealed beneath the villa, or the true object traveled inland and vanished from written history. Both remain plausible. Absence fuels mystery. The takeaway is simple. When evidence splits into two convincing paths, follow both until one stops revealing clues. In the end, the search for Aphrodite's treasure isn't just about a relic, it's about understanding a city that lived at the edge of indulgence, devotion, and disaster. Baiae's ruins remind us that history doesn't always vanish. Sometimes it simply sinks, waiting for someone curious enough to look beneath the surface. Whether the treasure lies behind a sealed chamber or disappeared long before the sea claimed the city, One truth stands firm: discoveries change the story, but mysteries keep it alive. Curiosity drives every great find. If you want to dive into more hidden worlds and forgotten civilizations, the next video is already waiting for you on screen.